But one of the rare things about John Horgan, I think really rare, is he was much better in government than in opposition. He really hated being in opposition, which is kind of odd in our parliamentary system. Usually, opposition has less consequence, but in some ways, lots of fun, and you can be critical of the other side. He didn't like that at all. He really liked being in government because he got a chance to do things,
Mm.
and he did things. He did a lot of things. For me, the number one thing he did was get rid of money out of politics. I mean, I think that's underestimated how important that innovation, that change was in British Columbia, where no party now has a huge competitive advantage because of wealthy people buying votes. And I think that's something that hopefully is a long-term legacy from John Horgan.
I was just going to ask you about that difference between being in opposition and in government. I remember interviewing him in opposition, and certainly he was very vocal as he led the NDP there in opposition to former Premier Christy Clark's Liberal government. And certainly, he was one to really be vocal and critical. And once he went into government, how did he tackle that? There's of course, the ability to actually make change, but the responsibility as well. What was that like for him?
Yeah, I think unusual in a lot of respects. Maybe the minority government forced him, of course, and the NDP to work with the
Hmm.
Greens and with other parties, and I think it had to temper his views. And what's so impressive was the reason he could get along with Andrew Weaver or the Conservatives or anybody was just his personality and again his genuineness, his authenticity, just being a normal person. He didn't dwell in identity politics. Sometimes he could be politically incorrect, but he always knew that he came from a place where he really meant it, where he really valued people and he really understood his constituency and understood where he came from. And so I think it was easy to like John Horgan.